Talk about the business going on with the Buffalo Bills. They have been making it to the playoffs as of late, but things have gotten a little unhinged in Buffalo. Remember, Stefon Diggs missed the first day of minicamp, then he reported the next day. There was a little turmoil intra-locker room, if you will. He is reportedly frustrated with his role in the offense and with the team's play calling. Shady, you played for the Bills. I will defer to your expert opinion, but I will get mine off as well. I think the Bills have peaked. I can't wait to hear what you have to say, but I think the Bills have peaked because there's too much turmoil going on for my liking. Leslie Frazier, the defensive coordinator formerly last year and for the previous years for the Buffalo Bills, he's not there anymore. What I recently heard over the weekend is because Sean McDermott wanted to take over calling plays on the defensive side. Well, now Stefon Diggs, their superstar wide receiver, is upset with play calling on the offensive side. Remember, Brian Daboll, brilliant coach for the New York Giants, he was the Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator when Josh Allen had his best season, runner-up to Aaron Rodgers as NFL MVP. And now he's gone. Ken Dorsey has taken over, and he did a fine job last year. So I think the Bills have peaked. Think about the last 3 years. They lost in the conference championship game to the Chiefs. Then they lost in the divisional game to the Chiefs. Then they lost in the divisional game at home to the Bengals. The Bills are literally going in the wrong direction. Conference championship game, loss. Conference championship, divisional game loss to the Chiefs. Divisional game lost to the Bengals. So I think the Bills have peaked, but Shady, you know the Bills. You played for the Bills, all pro for the Bills. Where do you stand? Have they peaked?
I'm going to say no. They have some time still to win a championship. They're ran by a really, really good coach, Sean McDermott. I think Josh Allen is still one of the top quarterbacks in this league. And Stefon Diggs is one of the top wide receivers in this league. You get Von Miller back from injury. You got Tre'Davious White coming back from injury. You got both of the safeties, Poyer and Micah Hyde. So I think this team will still be good. I mean, I just think that the issue is why we think they've peaked, because all the top teams in the AFC have emerged, right? Now the Jets are a team to talk about. Depending on how Tua is, now the Dolphins are a team to talk about. So the Ravens, they've always been good. They add in some offensive pieces. Now we're talking about them as one of the emerging teams to go to the AFC Championship game. So it's just a lot of different, I guess, variables that come to this opinion of have they peaked too soon. But I'm going to say no. I'm going to still ride that band, that wagon.
I hear you.
And we'll see what happens with Buffalo. We'll see what happens.
Joy, where do you stand on the Bills? You were all in last year, as was I, but it didn't pay off for you.
Yeah, and I don't like to be made to be a liar, so I didn't appreciate that. And I've picked Josh Allen to win the MVP like the last 3 years. But I don't know, I have this feeling like I feel like it's Bills exhaustion. We're getting tired of picking them. So we're doing that thing that we do in the media where we're like, we've picked you enough, now you have to suffer. We did this a little bit with Jokic this year. Like, you know what?
Yeah.
You need to prove to us that you're
We're not giving you any more.
Yeah. Now you have to earn it.
Yeah.
We know you're really good, but you're making us look like liars.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where we are with the Bills. The Bills have had a top 5 scoring offense and a top 5 total offense in each of the last 3 seasons. I understand there's a little bit of spiciness going on, and maybe some of that spiciness is due to the frustration of them not actually winning, despite all the talent and the success that they've had during the regular season, which is understandable. I'm just hesitant to completely jumping off the bandwagon with the Bills, even in the AFC, because it feels like they're always just right there.
Yeah.
And there's so much that happens over the span of a football season. Injuries to other teams, you have adversity with other teams, coaches getting fired. Like, there's so much that can happen that breaks in different teams' directions. That's what goes into winning a championship. We can go through every single year and see what happened, what broke your way to get you there. And to me, I would tend to put trust in a team that I've seen be consistently at the top of the conference year after year to then finally break through than I would be to jump on the bandwagon of a team that's hot and exciting and added one new player that we are all supposed to lose our minds over. So that's my only hesitation with the Bills and saying that they've peaked, is they're right there every single year. Not too much has changed, and it's a long season.
Slick, my favorite sport, contrary to popular belief, not football, not basketball, not soccer. It's actually track and field. Track and field. Why? Because you don't have to debate, did the quarterback add value? How much important was the point guard? Well, was it the coach? No.
I mean, you do have some stuff to say about FloJo, but that's for another time.
For another time and another day. But Slick, fascinating thing about track, at the end, nobody's getting faster. It's just who's decelerating the slowest. So it's not like Usain Bolt was actually speeding up for the last 30 meters. He was just slowing down at a less rapid pace than everybody else. I don't know that the Chiefs this year will be better than they were last year. I don't know that the Bills this year will be better than they were last year. I don't know that the Dolphins this year will be better than they were last year. But how much worse will they be?
Yeah.
And when I look at the Bills, I think they will be worse significantly than they were last year because of the players that Shady mentioned are great, but aging.
Yeah.
And not like the cute aging. The aging of, like, my starting safeties are now 32 years old.
Yeah.
The aging of my Von Miller is now 34 years
Yeah.
old. So I think they've peaked, not because they're going to fall off the cliff.
Right.
I just don't think they're speeding up any longer.
No, that's fair. I didn't want to say and won't say that they've peaked because of Josh Allen. I feel like Josh Allen can get better. And for that reason, in that position, I feel like talent-wise, they could still move in the right direction. I feel like this iteration of the Bills, though, has expired. Something needs to change. And it starts with Sean McDermott. I hear you, Shady, in terms of being a good coach, but he's not showing me that he's a good manager. There's an old saying about relationships: you never go to bed mad.
No.
You resolve your differences before you go to bed, and that's what he did with Stefon Diggs. Stefon Diggs is still carrying something from last season. They all went their merry way in the offseason and came back, and nothing was ever resolved in terms of the way Stefon felt about the way their season ended and his role in it.
Good point.
Sean McDermott, when Stefon didn't show up, said, "I'm very concerned." The next day he said, "Everything's resolved." Clearly, neither one, I don't know which one it is, but nothing has been resolved. And if you were that concerned, why didn't you address it sooner? So that's where I feel like and you guys know this, like every season, you're going to hit bumps in the road. You're going to have challenges. You're going to have disagreements. You're going to have issues that are going to come up. And somebody has to galvanize you and walk you through those things. And by and large, it's a head coach who can keep everybody on the same page. Sean McDermott is not demonstrating to me during the offseason that he's capable of that. And if again, to the point, like with the Chiefs and the Bengals and like everybody coming, I can't afford to have a team that is going to be knocked off its stride this easily.
No, you're totally right. I'm very surprised though how this happened, because Sean McDermott, he's one of them coaches where has like the open room, open door policy. Come in there, hey, if issues with the offense or the play calling or whatever it is, teammates, talk to me. And he has a thing where committee of vets, and I'm sure Stefon Diggs is on that committee, where they can come talk to Coach Sean McDermott. And he does a great job of managing that. If our guys fatigued or tired or how they feel about the travel, like he's always trying to find out what's the best way, or simplify the game plan, or simplify the schedules for all the players. So seeing that is kind of frustrating to see that, because knowing what type of coach he really is.
Shady, quickly, I think Sean McDermott's a phenomenal coach, but I had a conversation with the producer earlier this morning. Is there a chance that he could be on the hot seat, like a dark horse for the hot seat?
I can't. He's changed that Buffalo, right? And in a sense, they're not going to Super Bowls, but they're back to the old Bills days where they were going. Every year they were in the finals, or not the finals, but the championship games, right? Either AFC or actually in the Super Bowl. So I can't see them going back to firing Sean McDermott, because before Sean,
it wasn't no good.
Come on now.
Let me ask you this, though. Is there ever a point, and you know Buffalo Bills fans, you know Buffalo Bills faithful, is there ever a point where there's a thought of you could be wasting Josh Allen's career? Remember, 2 years ago, Josh Allen had 36 touchdowns, 4,400 yards, 6 rushing touchdowns, and 763 rushing yards. Over 5,000 total yards, one of the craziest seasons statistically we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Is there ever a chance where you're like, all right, Sean, Josh is one of the greatest physical talents at that position. I need results.
I mean, yeah, and some of that is Josh, too. Like we got to put some blame on Josh. Sometimes Josh gets kind of crazy, throws picks and et cetera.
Good point.
But he's a great quarterback. I just think that to have a chance to get to the AFC Championship game or get to the Super Bowl, that's good enough. All you need is a shot.
Yeah.
And they've been presenting that every year.
Yeah. Well said.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.